ladies and gentlemen. Jessie Lee Peterson is back in the news. And, we've had a raccoon problem for quite some time. And what I have learned over the years, the furry raccoons are not nice, and neither are the human type. And we've seen this. And one thing that we have seen consistently, as long as the raccoon is attacking us, then all is good. It's nobody complaining, nobody trying to get them demonetized, nobody trying to shut down a channel. The raccoon lives. And Jessie Lee Peterson, along with other raccoons, have been exceptionally exceptionally derogatory towards the black community because the raccoon tends to have a lot of self-hate. That is one thing that's consistent. So some people classify them, I've heard people say, our raccoons are white supremacists. And then another word that has been used to define them is redneck, you know but the term is usually used to indicate that someone that's melanated, they tend to sound and use the same talking points as a white supremacist. And Jesse Lee Peterson, he's been one of those, but there have been controversial things coming out about him, like Jesse swings the other way, and some of y'all might remember. I'm not going to get all into that. If you want to know, you can look that up. So Jesse Lee has a podcast called The Fallen State, and he's been in a fallen state, you know, with things that were leaked out about him in the press. So, you know, Jesse is a hypocrite. You know, in one instance, he was on his podcast talking about single mothers, and come to find out, Jesse Lee had a son out of wedlock. Okay, and he had this son when he was 19 years old, and he did not marry the girl that had his child. But he's always blabbing about single mothers in the black community. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. So I notice, and I'm not saying that raccoons are not everywhere, we know they're everywhere, but I notice a high number of them come out of the South. And Jesse Lee was born and raised in the South. And we know he referred to Donald Trump as the great white hope. He also insisted there was no such thing. And this is one thing that's very consistent, because this is what Candace Owens also says, that there's no such thing as racism. And there is no way Jesse Lee Peterson grew up in the South and never saw racism. Another one that tries to downplay racism is Tim Scott. He's another one. He comes out of South Carolina. There is no way he grew up in South Carolina and did not see or experience race. I absolutely don't believe him. I don't believe him. So now he believes, now this is from Jesse. Jesse said, I'm black and slow. This is what he said. And you know what? I have to agree with Jesse on that when he speaks of himself. He's black and he's slow. I Jesse, I couldn't agree more. Please explain further. So he believes that there are two types of men, alpha and beta. I can see where Jesse is slow, y'all. Let's go on. He thinks beta males are soft and compliant and refers to them in a derogatory manner. Any man who take advice from a female is a beta. This is what Jesse said. Jesse believes that men are meant to run the world and that no man should take advice from a woman. Love does not originate with women. The natural order of intelligence, love, power, authority on earth, he said, is the following: God, man, woman, children. Basically, only jurisdiction women have is children. Women don't have a direct pipeline to God, right? So he's saying in order for women to speak to God, they have to do it through a man. That's what Jesse said. That's what he said. All right. But my question to Jesse is, Jesse, do you have power and authority on this planet right now? Do you have those things? Because it sounds to me that you speak of things that you don't even have. Please explain your power and authority on the planet. I don't believe you have any. But let's move on. Jesse believes whites are smarter than blacks and that all of the problems in the black community stems totally from the actions of blacks. This is what it says, y'all. I'm just reading what it says. And their inferior behavior. Now that's some self-hate for real. He points out that blacks are innately criminal and have done more violence on earth than whites. That is not even possible. That's not even possible. We could kill each other every single day in the black community, and we would never catch up to the amount of killing that white people have done on this planet. There is no way. There is no way. But let's go on. He insists that there is no proof that white people have held black people back. That is absolutely false. You can go back and look at the laws, and you can even look at the laws that are written today, and we can see how laws are applied to each group very differently. So that is false. That is false. We can look at how cases are to this very day where the same crime is done, one by a black person, one by a white person, and the white person will consistently get the lighter sentence. So, what you are saying is very untrue. And where did the slave codes and black codes come from? We didn't write that ourselves. Okay, and these judges and juries and the all white jury that decides on these cases, that didn't come from us either. Who imposed Jim Crow? Who did that? And who were these mobs burning down towns, and who was making decisions to level towns that our people lived in and put up roads and highways and construct malls and everything else? With the amount of slaves in America, you should see slave cemeteries all over the place. They build on top of them, so you wouldn't even know they are there. Who made those decisions? Who made the decisions on redlining? Redlining is still going on to this very day. So when you say there's no evidence, Jesse must be the dumbest Negro in America because there's evidence everywhere. So let's go on, but this is what he's saying. So he goes on to say that even that the condition of black people has been adversely impacted by race. When questioned about police brutality, its disproportionate impacts on blacks, this is what Jessie Lee Peterson said. He insists that it's because black people don't know how to act when stopped by the police. That's not true. We have seen videos where white people have hit cops, spat on cops, cussed cops out, lied to cops, swing on cops, okay? Shoot at cops. So, did those people know how to act when the cops showed up, Jesse? How about the people that are doing these mass killings and going into schools and shooting up the place? How did they act around the cops to you, Jesse? I'm serious. How? How about Top Supermarket up in Buffalo, New York? We see Peyton Gendron. He wrote the N word right on the barrel of his AK 47, and he put on Facebook Live and walked in the supermarket and started shooting, and then had the nerve to sit in court crying as if somebody should feel sorry for him. So let's go on because he sure had a lot to say, y'all. So he basically believes that God does not communicate directly with women, that her husband must be the communicator to God on her behalf. This is what he's saying. He laments the fact that most black children are raised in single-headed households, and the catch is that he considers women to be totally responsible for the state of affairs. Mhm. I guess when you had that child out of wedlock, Jesse, that was all that woman's fault. You didn't have nothing to do with the relations that you had with her, right? You probably would say you didn't have nothing to do with it. So, anyway, the catch is that he considers women to be responsible for state affairs. He once had a black male guest on his show who admitted that he had never dated a black woman. Jesse's response was, "Good," or something to that effect. He encourages every man to forgive his mother for causing harm to the family. Say what? And to the broader black community. Okay, well, my black men, let me know if you forgive your mother. So let's go on. He believes that Satan is the head of women and God is the head of men. Wow, Jesse, really? So basically, Jesse, you got a black woman problem here, huh? Okay, don't let it show because you sure letting it show. I think this raccoon picture is very appropriate. So basically, Jessie Lee Peterson, he comes across as being extremely anti-black, anti-woman, and a multi-bigoted. He does not acknowledge racism exists. That's only because he is doing a hustle. He knows that if he denies racism, white people will chime in and listen to him. That's all this is about. And if white people listens to him, he gonna get paid. That's what it's about. It's about his wallet, y'all. And it's the same for Candace. As long as she's running her mouth against the black community, she's getting paid by them folks. And they're going to tune in to listen to her. All right. So let's go on. Now, a person who was not born yesterday can find the truth in certain things that he promotes. It is true that about 77, they're saying it's true 77% of Black children are raised without father. I was raised with my father, but look, some of your mass shooters were raised with fathers in the house too. I just want to put that out there. So it's definitely not outstrip the overall violence that Blacks have been subjected to in America. And that's true. We have been more of the victim of violence in America more than any other group. Okay. We have been mostly the victim, even within our community. Even things that we do to each other don't outweigh the fact that we are the victim more because we're victimized by other groups, okay, more than anyone else. So let's go on. So the great irony is that Mr. Peterson is basically the guy with an engaging personality. I don't think he has an engaging personality. It is definitely the opinion of the person that interviewed him. He considers himself a Christian. Uh-huh. And remember, y'all, Jessie Lee had a son out of wedlock. And then he dragged single um parent households. And he himself was a single parent. Just saying. So Jesse is just a walking stereotype at the end of the day. So let's go on. He believes the absolute ridiculous things that he says. Actually, he don't. I believe Jesse is doing it all for money, just like Larry Elder, Candace Owens, and all the others out here that are doing it for money. The truth indicates that we all have our different opinions regarding important issues, but Mr. Peterson's ideas are often, um, it's really geared towards the guest that he has on the show. So, of course, he sees everything in white and black, but everything white positive, everything black negative. We are entitled to our belief, but it is unfortunate that this black man's ideas are capable of racial animosities, which can be seen. Well, he doesn't care about who sees or knows how he is towards the community that he comes from, you know and they're just talking about, maybe one day Jesse will change his mind. I don't think Jesse's going to change his mind. He might change his mind if he retires, and he's not in podcasting anymore. But as long as he's involved in it, he's got an audience to please, and it pleases his audience to hear him talk against his own. That's why they keep tuning into him. Y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.